Good day, everyone. My name is Mark Jenkins. I am a trusted realtor. Some of you may already know that, some of you may not. But I wanted to provide you a quick video update because I'm sure whether you are buying or selling a house, whether it's now, the next couple of months, or not sure exactly when you're going to be doing that, the market has changed up significantly and it helps to get context on what's going on from a professional. So here I am today going to go over some recent numbers that we have in the market and also to provide context. And that's whether you're thinking about buying, selling, or both coming up. Because if you really think about it, right, over the last couple of years, real estate here in Metro Atlanta has changed significantly. I mean, we went from median home prices like right at about $250,000, $270,000 all the way to where we are today, which is like a 40 to 50% increase. And also, I'm sure all of you all remember over the last couple of years where there were like 30 or 40 offers on some houses. So that's left a lot of people with questions, right? Especially with interest rates going up as high as they have been in the last couple of years. Where we are today, I mean, interest rates are at probably a multi-decade high. And so that's left a lot of questions. When we're riding around Metro Atlanta, we're seeing all of these new developments. We're seeing all of these houses for sale. And if you're on the sidelines, you're probably trying to figure out, where do you fit in? Is now a good time to buy? Is now a good time to sell? What do you do? So for those of you who have already worked with me, you already know that I am a numbers-based realtor, right? I like to look at the numbers, like to look at the data, and then provide insight on what our clients should do based on that. So before we jump into the numbers, if you need to have a one-on-one analysis on your current financial situation, and that's whether you're buying or selling a house, please click the link below, schedule a time for us, and then we'll meet, go over your situation and figure out what's best for you based on what we're seeing in the market. Now, let's jump into the numbers. So whenever we're looking at real estate numbers, it's always important that we look at year over year numbers. Some people look at month over month, but to get a total picture of what's going on in real estate, we're looking at year over year numbers. What happened last year during that same month compared to this year during that same month. And those numbers actually give you a lot of insight on what's going on with Metro Atlanta real estate. So the first number that we're going to take a look at is the total residential units sold. And as you can see, when you look at September of last year compared to September of this year, there's a pretty sizable decline in the amount of units that were sold. We have a decrease in about 5%. Now, I know that seems like a small percentage, but if we actually look at this chart here, which goes back until 2020, we can see that this past September was actually the worst September that we have had in terms of the amount of homes that have sold, going back at least 5, 6, or even more years. We only had about 5,000 units sell here in Metro Atlanta, and that's counting the 29 county region that they consider Metro Atlanta. I know that seems like a lot, but that's what they count in the MLS when they're referring to the Metro Atlanta region. So only 5,000 homes sold. Now, also with only about 5,000 homes selling, we also take a look at the median residential sales price, which of course prices have been everyone who has been buying a home or looking to buy a home. It's been everybody's Achilles heel over the last couple of years. We have the median residential sales price coming in at 2% higher, or almost 2.5% higher, at $395,000. Just a quick overview of median that just takes all 5,000 homes that have sold and it picks the middle number, right? It's not necessarily an average, which the next number is. It's the middle number of all of the homes that have sold. Now, for those of you who are waiting for home prices to come down, a median sales price of $395 is pretty much the highest that we have seen in the past 4 years. So it definitely looks like the rate of appreciation for homes in Metro Atlanta is starting to slow down, especially when you take a look at the median sales price. For example, the highest median sales price that we had was back in June at $412,000, so about $17,000 more. But we are starting to see that slow down. If you see, like, even back in June 2022, the median residential sales price was $395. So over the last 2 years, we have seen things slow down a bit. That's great news if you're sitting on the sidelines thinking about buying. Now, what you may or may not be concerned with if you're buying is actually average residential sales price. Of course, that number is up significantly, up almost 5% to almost $480,000. A big reason that the average residential sales price is up so high compared to last year is that there are fewer sales on the lower end of the market And, if you have a lot of money, if you're a millionaire, obviously you're still out here buying real estate. That's not the case for most people, but that does give some context on what's going on with the average sales price. Now, the biggest number that should concern you when it comes to looking at this real estate data is the active residential sales listings. All right. So that's the amount of homes that we have for sale right now on the market here in Metro Atlanta. And that number is up 53%. We have almost 8,000 more listings available for sale right now than we did last year. So that number is going to mean very different things, whether you're looking to buy or whether you're looking to sell. And we'll talk about exactly what that number means for you in a second, but there's almost 8,000 more homes available. Now, I don't know if you all remember, but the number one reason why home prices went up so much here in Metro Atlanta is for the longest, maybe from 2021 to 2023, we had declining home inventory. So real estate is based on supply and demand. Rates were low and there weren't that many homes available. Now we have the exact opposite going on. Rates are higher, much higher than they have been in the last couple of decades. And then we're also seeing a multi-decade high when it comes to active listings on the market as well. And then also you have the residential inventory, which is not a surprising number. When it comes to residential inventory, we have almost 4 months of residential inventory, which is a 54% increase of what we saw last year. Typically, people consider a buyer's market when there is 5 to 6 months worth of inventory. Based on the numbers and what we're seeing right now, I'm pretty sure we'll be in a buyer's market probably by summer of next year, unless something drastic happens to make people start buying homes at a much higher clip than they are right now. So those are the numbers. And I know that a lot of you are like, okay, Mark, how do we make sense of these numbers? Well, let's talk about if you're planning on buying a home. Number one, if you are planning on buying a home, you have to understand that right now you have a lot more leverage than you have had in probably the last 3 years, right? Right now, we have buyers that are going under contract that are getting upwards of $20,000 in closing costs. We have buyers that are able to negotiate $10,000, $15,000, $20,000 off the list price for these homes. And the reason is that sellers are actually starting to panic. So when sellers are trying to sell their home and they're thinking like their home is going to sell in 2 weeks, but it actually takes 12 weeks, they're much more likely to actually start cutting these prices, which is in your favor. So if you've been sitting on the sidelines, I'm not necessarily saying you should buy right now, because ultimately that is a client by client specific situation. So we can meet anytime and try to figure out when is the best time for you to buy. But however, if you are on the sidelines, the conditions are leaning in your favor, because over the past couple of years, we weren't able to get closing costs. We had clients that sometimes weren't even able to inspect the properties. And I don't really like that, but ultimately it's your choice. But those situations have changed significantly now. And on top of that, down payment assistance is back and sellers are actually willing to accept those programs, which they weren't before. Now, on the flip side, if you are planning on selling your house, you have a ton of competition. Now, that doesn't mean that it's a bad time to sell. That doesn't mean that your home won't sell, but you've got to understand that the days of putting your property on the market and having 40 people show up over the following weekend and 10 or 15 offers in your inbox, like that time has already passed. And so if you are planning on selling your house, the number one thing you've got to focus on is presentation. You got to make sure that the home is in the best condition possible. Maybe consider making upgrades like paint or flooring or things that increase the curb appeal. You have to start to think about those things, because if you don't, what we're seeing on the market, since you have a lot of competition, then it may take a lot longer for your home to sell. And just like anything else, the longer it takes to sell, that's the increased likelihood that you're going to actually start cutting prices. And if you cut prices also, that's just money out of your own pocket. So if you're planning on selling your home, it's extremely important that we've got it in the right condition. We're doing the right marketing behind it. Hey, you're not just going to be able to stick a sign in your yard, pop it in the MLS and be able to get your home sold. So if you got to sell your home, let's get together, put together a plan and strategy to get it done so we can make you the most money possible. And the last thing I want to bring up is new construction. So like I said before in the video, there are tons of new construction projects going on all across Metro Atlanta. To me, new construction is probably the best deal that you can get out there. And here's the reason. Number one is that they have tons of inventory. So you actually are going to get your choice of a new home, right? New construction builders are also doing rate buy down. So there are several builders where, like, if you're a rate conscious buyer, like a lot of people, there are several builders which will buy down your rate until like a 2, or there are several builders which will buy down your rate into like the 3 or 4% range, which gives you like thousands of dollars of savings. Some of them are permanent buy downs, some of them are like 3-2-1 buy downs, and we can cover that in another video. But nonetheless, there are tons of programs available with builders that are going to help you be able to purchase a new home. And of course, you can get a new home, get a home that has a warranty, and get to choose your finishes and things like that. So, in my opinion, if you're looking to buy a new home, definitely comment, give me a call, shoot me a text, let me know. I'll get you a list of the brand new homes here in Metro Atlanta so you can pick out which one is best for you and your family. I appreciate you taking the time to watch this video. We are going to be doing this a lot more often because I believe in keeping the public informed. So make sure you throw this video a like, share it with your friends and family. And like I said, if you would like to take the time to meet with me personally, use the link below to schedule a time and we'll go over your situation. Thank you for watching. I'm a trusted realtor. Deal closed.